Welcome to the Soulscape show, where together we will explore and discover the depth and breadth of your soul for your evolution to higher consciousness. This is a very special show with your host and speaker, Gabrielle Spencer. Gabrielle Spencer is known for conscious creation for old souls. She is a soul healer connecting with the void energy for multidimensional consciousness healing. She's a multidimensional intuitive channel and channels the golden beings of light and higher vibrational beings in her healing sessions as an inspirational speaker, an author, and practical spiritualist who assists you to raise your vibration to reclaim your inner power, spiritual gifts, and abilities. Gabrielle shares next level spiritual tools, clearings, and activations to unite your heart, mind, spirit, and soul to allow you to awaken and manifest your soul's highest destiny. Today, we will be discussing the 4 phases of awakening to Ascension. Hello and welcome, everyone. This is Gabrielle Spencer, and I am the host and the speaker, the guest on the Soulscape show tonight, and I appreciate all of you being here. For those of you who aren't familiar with me, I am a multidimensional intuitive channel. I host the Soulscape show in order to assist all of us to receive the information, the knowledge, and the skills, the clearing, all of those things that we need in order to assist us in our own soul's ascension and why we're here. Many people know they're here for a reason, but they aren't sure exactly what it is or how to make that come to fruition. And we're in desperately trying times at the moment for many people. And this show is here, and I am here tonight to assist you clearing, getting information to help you take advantage of the energies that are being brought in, transmitted to all of us. That's what is happening at this time. But there's a lot of confusion about how and what you're to do while they're feeling chaotic and a little bit like too much. So, as an intuitive healer and channel, I connect with the golden beings of light, which are 12th dimensional beings, and they are here to assist us to move faster and to provide us with the information we need so that we can do things with less struggle and less difficulty. And that's a really big thing, as most of us will say we struggle and we're having a difficult time physically. Our physical bodies are having a difficult time, and emotionally. So if you've noticed in all that's happening in our crazy pandemic issues around the world, it's bringing up a lot of things for a lot of people. So if you want, you can put in the chat box what is coming up for you. And my plans and goals for today are to get to you and to provide you with healing and soul readings so that we can see and help you to reconcile or release or what needs to be done for you so that you can move through the soul level or heart level disconnection or separation that you're experiencing. We know that we are multidimensional beings. And while we know this, we may or may not understand exactly how that applies to us here in the 3rd dimension. So I want to talk tonight about this really amazing next step and putting it all into perspective so that you can get the understanding that you need in both the practical human way and in the spiritual way, because it makes it easier for people to move forward in their lives when they understand things. And even though we know we can't know everything, because we don't, it's nice to have an idea and some stability in just understanding where we're heading, right? So, for all of us, we're going to talk about how this whole plan and trajectory works. So this is called the 4 phases of awakening to Ascension. And the reason that it is called this is because for each one of us, we come here asleep. And when we are asleep, we have to awaken. So the first phase is that awakening, understanding that you are here to wake up to your spirituality, to your own inner power, and your own soul's purpose. But in phase one, it's about discovery, awakening ourselves, and realizing, oh, hey, wait, there's more to me than just being a human and just living here in the third dimension. And that's a very exciting time to awaken self. That's really what it is. Awakening self and realizing, hey, there's a whole lot more. Well, that's the first phase. And for a lot of people, getting to that place is a big deal. And right now, in what is happening in the crisis, the pandemic, it is awakening a lot of people to, oh, wait, there must be something more. And I need to figure out what that is and what that looks like and how to get there. So that's the first piece. But at the same time, this same pandemic is operating on other levels for those of us that are in other phases of our awakening. So phase two is when you begin to realize, there's more to this. And in order for me to get where I know I need to go, I have to start clearing myself. So this phase is known as the purification phase of awakening. And it's the time when we begin to realize fear is really controlling us on every level, and it keeps us from truly advancing and raising our vibration. So that soul level is not reached necessarily from this phase two, because we're dealing with the lower frequency fears that have traveled with us and were created throughout our multidimensional existences. Okay? So this phase, I'm calling it the fear phase, but it is actually the purification of self, but it's purification of fears and all those things that limit us and keep us in the belief that we are disconnected and we are alone and we are abandoned, and stress and worry and anxiety is really the ruler of our day and keeps us locked into what it is that we are experiencing. So when we realize this stage, it's kind of like, wow, well, how do I get out of this? And how much more clearing do I have? I hear that a lot, and I'm sure many of you have thought it or felt it as you've gone along your own journey. But you are going along your own journey in order to reach your next phase, which is the illumination of self. And this is when you actually step into that higher vibrational self. So you will begin to be operating from your heart level. That is it. It's heart illumination. It's when you are operating from more of a heart, spirit, mind, higher self, soul connection, is as you've reached into this third phase. So it's the illumination of self. It's very important to get to this third phase, because as you can see, the more of us that do, then we are able to use light to create our reality and to create what it is that we are wanting and what we are needing to be. Because we're all here as masters of light. But it is in this awakening process that we get to phase four, which is the oneness of self, self-realization. It's when you step back into your mastery of light. So this is the process, and we are all moving into it. And the more of us that move through that phase two especially, we're then able to help others through our own light and what we know and what we have embodied. We're then able to help others to do the same. And then we get into that third phase. So we're all working on that higher second phase, right? Releasing the fears. And this pandemic is creating the environment
that for a lot of us, our deepest fears on a cellular level, on a soul's consciousness level, are coming up for us. And this will shift a lot of us to our third phase of awakening, which is when we are fully connecting and working through more of an illumination process, regaining more of our abilities and our gifts, and being able to truly start seeing the effects of being one. And as we're doing this, we're moving to phase 4. So it's not that everything is strictly linear, right? We all know this, but it's in general, this is how the phases of awakening work. Okay. So Deborah says, I feel like the biggest onion is the onion in the universe. So many layers to clear. But this is the most important part, Deborah, is that we're moving through this phase 2, and many of us are at that top level of phase 2. So it means that we're being awakened and we're being kicked in the butt to move to phase 3. It's like, okay, you've been in phase 2 long enough. Now you need to move through the major portions of your fears, these deeper fears. It's not things that are even going to readily come to your mind. It's because they're on a multidimensional heart and soul level, betrayals and distrust and mistrust, and areas where we no longer feel supported by source or by universal energy. And so that's where the disconnection lies. So that's a big one. It keeps us from moving into that illumination portion. So I know that some of you might be feeling like you're in partly in 3 and you're a little bit still in 2, and that's very possible too. It doesn't mean that you're all in one or the other. You can be like a bridge, like we're doing now, between third dimension, fourth dimension, fifth dimension. So what is happening in the world is we're all being given the opportunity to shed what no longer serves us, and that we must embody through our own clearing and cleansing of our fears and the things that keep us from being fully connected within ourselves to our own soul and to source, that those things are needing to be cleared out so we can all move into that third phase, which is the illumination of self. This is when our high heart is fully open and we are connecting with the light as much as possible. And when I mean fully open, we're going to talk about fully open for the third phase, right? I think that this process continues, that we continually expand. And as we merge within ourselves, with our light bodies and with our soul, that expansion increases. And that's how we increase our vibration. And it is all about moving into the 5D. So what I have come to understand is that as we're moving along, it is necessary for us all to get into that high 2 to the 3 phase in order to help move the planet and us physically into the 4D. And then, interestingly enough, moving into the 5D as we all are moving into the 4th phase, which is when we're stepping into our mastery of light. And this is what all of us have come here to do. This is our purpose. How we get there is unique to each one of us. Does that make sense to everyone? So this is my practical explanation of our awakening journey and what it means to continually awaken and move to higher and higher vibration. It's an amazing process, and it becomes way more interesting and exciting once we move through that phase 2 part. Okay, it's when we really start to understand that miracles is just energy, and it's just your ability to be clear and not falling back into phase 2 of fear, if that makes sense to everyone. Okay, so I want you all to know that this group process today is going to be to assist each one of you to find out where you are, and or to help you move through where you are currently feeling stuck and that you're not following your soul's purpose to the energetic that you need to. It tells us that For each one of us, there's going to be areas that are really coming up for you right now, because that's what the energetic is all about. It's about clearing out all these blockages that are keeping you from being able to move to that next phase for you. So each one of you can close your eyes and roll them up toward your eyebrows, taking your 3 deep breaths, allowing your brain to go into theta, and asking, where am I? Now, this is just between you and your higher self. There are no badges or awards we give, right? This is about us getting a true understanding of where we are in our own awakening process. There's something that really worries me and sort of bothers me too about all the things that I'm hearing out on the airwaves. And it's this. Each one of us has our own journey. When we have achieved higher dimensionality, 4D and 5D, you will know this. But you will not be sitting here conversing with me and on this video. If you are in 5D all of the time, you're not going to be physically able to hold your body in a third dimensional existence. It's very hard to do unless you are a guru, right? Unless you are a prophet, Jesus, etc. We are still human, and we are meant to be here as human, operating at that higher vibration. We are here for a mission. Our mission is to bring this, where we are, into a higher vibration. And as we do that, we will all know when we've arrived, right? What I know, and was asked earlier on a show I did today, was how will we know? And I said, because we will all be there together, and we will know when we've hit that critical mass, because we won't be talking about fears anymore. We'll be talking about how we reach greater mass for heart illumination and self-illumination and mastery of light. We will know that we have crossed this threshold, as well as that the planet is needing to cross this threshold too. And we are going to be going through other difficult times. This is not the only one. So if that causes you fear, that's what we want to dig out. What does that mean to you? What is coming in for you that causes greater fear, to know that we're going to have other difficult times, and perhaps more difficult than what we're going through right now? Our job as masters of light and light workers, you may have heard me say, it's time for our transformation from light worker to master of light. This is what it means to move into that fourth phase, that third and fourth phase. And so as we're doing this, we are using our own light and our own abilities to heal others, to allow the light to do its thing, that we're the beacons of light, and that we're offering our own light to assist however it needs to. And also to be aware and using our intention for that, the side of dark, which is still here on this third dimensional plane, to also perhaps be, my new word, quarantined as well, so that they're not influencing and affecting things to go in a direction that we know that we're here to keep from happening. So we have a lot of jobs as far as light workers go, as far as masters of light go. And for each one of us, the way to do that effectively is to clear and heal and reconcile that phase 2 of awakening within us, all the fears, the hurts, the pains, the traumas, and the issues that are keeping us from stepping into our own power from within. So when you hear these things being said out there, that it's all about your power within, this is what we're talking about. We are talking about becoming clear within your own high heart, within your emotional body, within your heart's consciousness and your soul's consciousness, so you can be this beacon of light. And it is from this energetic of being able to be a vessel of light that you are then able to create and influence what is happening around you and within your own life. So the idea here is what you want to see on the outside What you want to create on the outside must be created on the inside first. Okay? And that's what we're here to do. And that's what I wanted to offer to everyone today, is to connect with you and assist you to find what it is that you may be going through that needs clearing, so that you can download what you're needing to download, and what you're able to shift, what needs to be shifted. Because for each one of us, it's not going to be necessarily like a group activation. It's something very particular that your soul has to clear, that you have to reconcile on a higher dimensional existence or plane that is totally yours. And each one of us, as old and ancient souls, know that we have many things that have occurred, even if we don't know exactly what they are. It's not about knowing, it's about providing the frequencies that are out of order, that are disconnected, that are broken, that are missing. There are many things that have occurred to us, and we are operating from, for lack of a better word, a broken place, versus being in complete harmony within ourselves and our connection all the way up to our soul. And I hope that makes sense. Everybody's been very quiet on the chat. So let me know what that feels like to all of you. And I want to begin by taking calls so we can get to as many as possible. Andrea says procrastination. Yes, I think I have a whole show on that. Kat says shame. So these are great things for level 2, where we are in your phase of awakening. Disconnection from money. So I had this discussion today about money. The way that our third dimension is set up is to believe that money is power, and it is what we use, and that's fine. But when we shift the fear of money and all that it creates, good, bad, and otherwise, what happens is you then move into an energetic where money is just a tool, and that it comes in just as it needs to. I was sharing a story earlier today about this, that in early March, I finally got the real hit to go ahead and order myself a freeze dryer. And I hadn't done it in the past because, well, it's expensive and I didn't really need it, and et cetera, et cetera. But in early March, before all this crazy got started, it was go ahead and order it. And I decided, okay, I can do that. I'm going to figure out a finance plan and et cetera. And that's how I decided to move forward. But I just knew that regardless, I was going to do it, because I really felt strongly that I was getting the hit to do that. So before all this pandemic really got started, before now the new information about food and all these other things, I already had it ordered. And at that time, it was actually on back order. So the story is, I didn't worry about money. I just asked for the terms that I could afford and that I could do. And the company was fine with that. And so then what happened was I got my freeze dryer, and then sale of property happened, and suddenly the money is there. But 2 months after I committed to purchasing. So the reason I share this story is because money only has the power over you that you allow it to. What are you allowing it to stop you to do? And is there another way? And asking the universe what it is that you need to do for your soul's mission, not to get money. Does everybody understand the difference? Okay, so Stacy says, yes, what you're saying resonates and well communicated. Thank you, Stacy. What if you're not sure what the block is? Exactly. This is what we're talking about, why we're going to tap into you on a soul level to look for the deeper block, the deeper issue that created the separation. Because for old souls, many times it's not just poverty consciousness. It's that in general, we also have martyr complexes running, right? We have this idea of service to humanity means it's free, or that you have to give to your own failing, because that's what you're here to do, is to serve. Okay, so all right, everybody's now chiming in. So here's the thing. Clearing will lead to deeper clearing unless you're doing it on a multidimensional level, because when you start out, and we're only pulling the bottom part of phase 2, which is purification, the purification level. Well, it depends on what you're connecting with to heal. Okay, so it's like taking, I don't know why this is coming to me, but so you have Major League Baseball, right? And then you have the farm team for Major League Baseball. So some energy you're only able to reach so high. You're only able to reach certain aspects. And that's why working with a healer or someone who is able to connect with void energy, or like for myself, void energy, or the golden beings of light, is because they're operating from a higher dimension. 12th dimension is the golden beings of light, and the void energy is outside of the universal restrictions. So you're operating from a different level. And so it depends on where you are vibrationally and the healer that you're working with, where they are and what they have access to. So like peeling that onion, sometimes you can just cut to the quick and you can work on that heart soul level. And so you're able to just get rid of it a lot faster. And then sometimes, depending, you might be peeling it off literally layer instead of big chunks. So I hope that makes sense for why it seems this way. Okay. So Jacqueline says, I don't understand your last statement about money. And Alexander says, I know there are times I let money drive my choice. And that's exactly what I mean by that last statement, Jacqueline. Thank you, Alexander. That's it. It's that we allow money to be the limiter. And we put things on it like we don't understand that a limit sometimes begets more limits. Okay, so we'll say, well, I don't have the money, so I'm not going to do it until A, B, and C are met, and then I'm going to. Even though inside you know you're supposed to. See, this is a really big part of our transformation as we move through these phases of awakening. So as you gain this illumination, as you're working through that second level, you're gaining more connection and higher vibration. And so you're able to connect with your own intuition. And that intuition is not gut intuition, which is fear-based, but rather it's going to be higher self intuition, where your higher self is dropping the information for you to pick up. Okay. So as you do that, you start to follow that heart-led intuition that comes from your higher self, regardless of the things your mind knows are the issues staring you in the face. It doesn't mean that you ignore things. It means that when you feel that push, that you honor yourself and you follow it, and you're not spending your energy on worrying or trying to figure out how to make things work, versus you stay in the alignment and knowing and trusting that everything has its time. And as long as you're staying connected and listening and following your higher intuition, it all will come to fruition. But it takes your action and your connection. And so when we're talking about these phases of awakening, what we're talking about is strengthening that connection, strengthening your ability to hold light, be light, and what I like to think of as sharing light. But it means that wherever you're putting your intention, the light is just going there. Not because I'm sending it, it's because I'm merging with light. And the more light that I'm merging with, the more, let's call it power, that I have to use to assist me in what it is that is in my soul's aligned best good. Does that make sense? Yes, it's very, very good question, Iona. So Iona says, how to clear our personal fears and traumas and stop picking up more fears and lower emotions from the collective consciousness. That's right. It's a mass consciousness. Our mass consciousness is based on fear. That's the third dimensional programming, survival programming, security, survival, stability. And you can see that for a lot of us right now, our own sovereignty is under attack in that we are being told, and the mass consciousness and collective is being told, that they need to be secure, and they need to be worried about dying, and they need to be worried about being sick, and they need to be worried about all of these things. And that's what's going around in the mass consciousness. And so yes, it is being picked up. And my suggestion is, what is it triggering within you? And if you are releasing that, then it is about then shielding with light and also beaming light, just making it your intention to beam light to all those that are feeling those emotions that are being triggered within you, because you know then that that's what is needing to be cleared for the collective. Does this make sense to everyone? Okay. So Elizabeth says, I recently got in touch with a limiting money belief that is money in itself denotes dependency on others, things outside of myself. Sovereignty means to me to be able to call forth into form anything I require through source, like the masters demonstrated. So money has a symbol of weakness, limitations to me in light of the sovereignty. Appreciate your response. Okay, so that's what I've been saying in a way, Elizabeth. Make the one next leap to money is just a tool. It's just energy. It's just energy. It's not bad. It's not good. It's nothing. Those bad and good and all that we assign to it is based on our own beliefs and our own limitations and our own fears. Rather, in this third dimension, money is part of the protocol of the system, how it's set up, where spirituality and practicality and 3D humanness sort of separate, is that we're separate. We don't bring it together to where we realize that money, just like eating food and all of those things, is part of our existence, right? And as long as we are in alignment, then everything is provided through source, whether it's a home or a car or a job or money or loves of our life or family, children. All of those things are through source. And the more that we are connected from within, the more then we are able to create what it is that we're wanting from within to the outside. Okay, so it's internal to external, not external to internal. And that's the separation for people, everyone in general. And we have to work through that it's really about what's going on the inside, whether it's you and I are trading in shells or dollars, it doesn't matter. It's still energy. So as you raise your vibration, you will realize that the separation was our beliefs that money is bad, or I don't have enough, or I need more, or I can't afford that, or those issues is generally what comes up. But what it's really about is trust and knowing and understanding that when you are in alignment, and this doesn't mean, oh my God, I really want a red Corvette and I'm not getting it, or I don't have the money. What I'm talking about is that your desires are in alignment with what is in your highest and best good. And I hope that everybody understands the difference of what I'm talking about. Hey, Lynette. Good to see you, sweetie. Okay, Iona. I have a lot to say on that, but I don't have time to go into it right now. So Iona says, thank you for the answer. How to prepare at a personal family level for the next trials humanity will go through in the very near future. This is so important, as we said, and this could be a whole show on its own. So I will just give to you what I am doing to prepare, if you don't mind, and then you can take from that. My suggestion to each one of you is to go within yourself, as I said, connect to your higher self, and ask what it is that you need to do, right? And ask what it is that's your next step. So for me, I'm preparing on the practical 3D human level, and I'm doing the spiritual work so that I can stay clear, okay? So that I can heal what comes up for me as I'm being triggered, because I know that as I clear it for myself, humanity will also benefit, as we're all one, and the ripple effect is, the butterfly effect, as they say. So for each one of us, it's about what is it that we need to have that stability and security. So I was asked today, well, what happens if I just lost my job? The first question that you're asking your higher self after you have the emotions, please don't forget you are human, and we're meant to be human and to learn to exist in this plane as a highest level vibration human that we can be, okay? So as we're doing that, if you end up in that position where right now your stability has been pulled out from under you, then your response is to ask your higher self, what is it that you need to do to bring to yourself, not a job and not money, but your next step on your soul's path to awakening. Because as you do that, it's going to be the fastest way to clearing out the layers. So you're not working on all these extraneous layers that actually aren't getting you anywhere. And that happens too. Somebody wrote earlier about just continually always having to clear. And that's because you're working on things that your mind thinks is important, but actually it's all about what your higher self is guiding you to do, to clear and be in alignment with your soul's path and your soul's destiny. And I will share too here that there's not one destiny, there's not one path, and you're not limited as you begin to raise your vibration and move through that second awakening of purification, and you're moving into that third, which is the heart illumination and soul illumination phase. Then what happens is you are not attached to all of these things that happen. It just naturally is this way. You're not pretending. It just is. And so when you get there, you realize, oh, wow, I have all these other opportunities. So when it's first happening and you're in that phase where it's creating fear and instability and keeping you from having that trust within yourself, that's what you're working on. But you're asking, show me what I need to work on, what I need out of this, and then provide for me the opportunities I need to feed myself, clothe, etc. But it's about what is it you're to learn. For a lot of people, what is happening right now, and probably will continue to happen, is, we all joke about the spiritual 2x4, but the truth is that all of us have to be kicked out of our comfort zone in order to shift into the next phase of our awakening. It gets very comfortable, right? We know how to operate, we know how things work, and we have our workarounds. So what we want for all of us is to move through what our third dimensional mass consciousness programming tells us are the issues, and ask for what the soul needs to clear so that it can bring all aspects of yourself together and merge. I hope that makes sense. So Rihanna says, how to deeply heal the fears that are inherited or absorbed from parents. So that can be done as well on that multidimensional level, and especially a soul level. So if those fears are still there are a couple things. One is being willing to let them go. And two is that if your parents are still tempting to trigger them all the time for you, it's then sending love and light for your parents' healing so that they're not re-triggering them. And more importantly, though, it's about working within that ancient ancestral lineage and your original lineage. So when we get to level 4, it's about connecting with your original lineage. And what that means is how your soul first started to incarnate at the multidimensional levels that it was. So it's all about bringing self and realizing self. That's phase 4. And what we mean by realizing self is not necessarily who Gabrielle is as a person, but who is the soul aspect of Gabrielle. Where did I originally start my incarnation cycles, and bringing those back into wholeness. So most likely, when we feel like we've inherited something and it's from our parents, it's going to be that it's really, if it hasn't cleared, it's because it's going to be on that soul origin level. Does that make sense? Does everybody get the soul origins? So you can have more than one soul origin. We have a lot of things going on a soul level. It's not linear. It's not happening in a linear time frame. The soul is unlimited. And so as humans, we may have a hard time understanding how that works exactly. But what I know is that when we have energetics that keep repeating, it means that it is at a deeper level that it needs to be cleared. And that deeper level means it's going to be on a higher frequency or multi-dimension wherever it is stored. I hope that makes sense. Okay, now we're going to go to, I know we have some people with their raised hands, so you all can raise hands. Let me read the first question here. All right, so we're going to see. I'm reading, and we're going to go and see. All right, we're going to allow Anita. I'm going to turn you on here. Can you unmute yourself?
Yeah, hi Gabrielle, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, since yesterday morning I woke up feeling like this vertigo, like spinning, especially the left side of my head. And I just can't, it's just really affected me. I'm in bed right now too, and my blood pressure was low, what was going on. So I just been, drinking water and electrolytes and eating bread and just feeling very woozy. And I do have an appointment, a video appointment tomorrow with the regular doctor at 9:30. It's the earliest she had. And, I don't know, is this energetic? Is this medical? Like health issues have come up, during the course of the past several years while clearing. And sometimes, most of the time they can't find anything. And so it's always a little scary, like, it's like low blood pressure, low blood sugar. Is it a tumor? Is this not? But as I'm clearing, as I get no. And other stuff is coming up for clearing. So I don't know, is it a rip in the aura, somewhere over the left side of my head? Because I can actually feel I feel something. And
Okay.
it's a little scary, especially with the whole quarantine thing. Can't just go to the hospital, like just going out and exposing myself more. I don't know.
Okay, it's okay, Anita. So I was seeing that there is right in the area between your breasts, I guess, that it looks like there's a black circle, and then there's another circle within it, and then another circle within it, which is interesting. And the smallest circle is a black, and then there's like a white ring around it, and then there's a black larger ring about an inch around. So we're going to see what that is and what it is that needs to be healed. The rest of it, I'm not a medical intuitive. So energetically, I'm being shown that there is an energetic issue there. So if we clear that at least will be cleared, and then you can go ahead and do your doctor visit, etc. So I just want you to close your eyes, and I want everybody to do the same. Close your eyes and roll them up toward your eyebrows, and just long enough to allow yourself to go into the theta brainwave state to assist you. Okay? And when we go into a theta brainwave state, it allows us to raise our vibration and to get clearer information and to be more receptive to the healing energies. So let's do that, and let me see what we need to do. And for each person, just know that heart blockages is what we're going to work on here. Okay, we're going to work on heart blockages because it's not just about the physical heart, but it's that high heart. It's just below the high heart area. And for a lot of us, we have blockages that keep us from being a pure channel of light. Okay? Okay. I can feel that it's moving, but it's actually moving from about the second chakra. So that still is the security and stability area and trust, I hear, for you. So as I said, all of us have these issues, trust and trusting source, and that the universe has our back, and the universe has our answers, and being able to fully trust that, and forgiving God and the universe for perhaps not always answering in the way we want and the way we think they should, or that we should be provided for, etc. So there's I hear healer guilt here. So that would mean that you've had lifetimes where, you know, you weren't able to do a lot, or you did too much. So it's always never just one side. It's always more than one side. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so that blockage is more about guilt. So it took us a little bit to work there. So we're just going to breathe easy here and ask the golden beings of light to come in for all of us to heal and release guilt on a multidimensional level in all places in which it's stored in our consciousness. God knows we don't need any more guilt, and that we are free of guilt. Free. Breathe in, I am free of guilt. Oh, that's beautiful. Okay. All right, sweetie. How do you feel?
Oh, like more air could come in. I could breathe more.
Okay. I want you just every time you start to feel constricted, just make the command, I fill myself with golden light, every cell of my being, to heal and repair me on every level. Just breathe it in. And as you do, and as you start to feel how it's working, right? You will begin the belief process that you are supported, you are loved, you are needed, you are wanted. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you, Anita. You have a
Thank you.
wonderful
Can you say
night.
that sentence again? Again about the golden light. Can you say that sentence again?
You're going to say, it is commanded that I am filled with golden light.
Okay. It's commanded.
Calling in the golden beings of light to assist you. It's however you feel it in the moment. I command and to be connected with the golden beings of light, to fill me with the highest vibration of golden light into every cell of my being, to heal and repair me, to make me whole, and to feel and know love and support. Okay?
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome, sweetheart.
Yeah,
Thank you.
blessings.
That's beautiful for everyone.
Yeah, thank you.
That's right. People are already saying, I needed that one too. Yes, we all do. That's the beauty. Thank you, Anita. All right. That is the beauty of doing this work together, which is why I love to do it again. hold on a second. Let me just, I'm sorry, I put down my book. Okay, which is holding my microphone. All right, so Sandra says, how can we raise our vibration? Work and money are big issues nowadays. Yes, they are. Elizabeth said she needed that healing and clearing too. And I want everybody to know that regardless of what we're saying or asking for or seeing, being in the energy and the openness and the willingness for the golden beings of light to assist you, your own team, your own cadre, your own legions that are working with you, this provides, it's kind of like a step up. When we're all together, we raise the vibration, and it's almost like everything's just right here, just at eye level or above, like where we can just pluck it. And so being willing, whether you think the issue is yours or not, that you're just open to the healing for you. The energy knows what you need to help you move through. And I hope that makes sense. Okay. All right. So we have a lot of questions. So I want to keep going. So we are raising our vibration. Sandra is asking, how can we raise our vibration? Work and money are big issues. They are. And the most important thing is to remember that sometimes in this transition period, it means that there is something that you might have missed because your mind said, no, I have this job and I need to keep this job. This job pays for my house and everything that I have. And so I can't leave it and go do something, that might interest me more, or that I'm afraid of looking into. So what I find for a lot of people is that when we are being forced to make a decision or a choice that we might not make, many times there's another reason. So the best example I can give is when my career came crashing down in 2008 and I lost everything, and I was refusing to see the next chapter for myself. And although I had strong spiritual people in my life, I did not want to hear what they had to say to me, which at the time was, you are a healer. And my initial immediate response was, no, I don't want to do that again. And I closed the door. I did not want to hear it. I wanted to go back to corporate. I wanted to make a lot of money. I wanted to do my thing. And that's what I wanted to do. I never wanted to do the spirituality thing. I didn't want to do the healer thing. And so I refused to see it. I refused to accept it. And so that's what we mean by many times things will close because that chapter is meant to close, and that you're meant to open a new chapter. So what is it that you're avoiding doing is one of the questions you need to ask yourself, and ask your higher self to show you what it is you're avoiding, because many of us don't know, right? Okay, so good. So I hope that makes it understandable. What are you avoiding? That's the question. When you connect, as I've described, to connect your higher self, ask, what am I avoiding? So you can even do it right now as we're in this higher vibrational energy anyway. What are you avoiding? What is it that you're meant to do? And you're not going to get that answer because your mind doesn't know what that answer is. But your higher self knows what it is that you're not willing to do, or that you've closed off and that you haven't wanted to do because you don't know how to make money from it. It's not something that you ever want to do again, like in my case. And we have many reasons, okay? Okay. So we'll answer that in a minute. Let me go to our next caller. The last four digits are 2378. Hello?
Hello. Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Gabrielle.
Yes.
Hi, it's Destiny.
Hi, Destiny.
Hi. I'm having a really, the right side of my body is feeling really strange. I don't know if it's a blockage, but it's literally my whole right side of my body right now.
I have noticed this. I had a dream myself the other day where the whole left side of my body felt not so much the blockage, more like just wasn't there. It was very bizarre.
Yeah, that's
But
it.
what I received was that, again, remember I said in the phases of awakening, we have to be able to bring our physical self into a fourth dimensional and then a fifth dimensional existence. Okay. And the earth has to move into those as well. So our physical bodies are being jacked. That's what I heard. That's so funny. So it's almost like hijacked, like we're having to upgrade them too. And so it seems that the phase that some people are experiencing is that sides of their body are being worked on, and it's almost like a bit of a disconnection, and then it will come back. So the best thing to do is to continue to bring in the light to help that work happen as quickly as possible. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
So I just visualize the light, call in the golden beings to bring in golden light on the right.
To assist you to integrate and assimilate the higher vibrational energies that are coming in for your transformation. So this is what I meant when I said earlier that there are so many things going on. We're healing and clearing and upgrading and shifting all at the same time, which is kind of more than we've ever had to do. And then, we have everybody else's turmoil plus the things that are happening in our own life. So this particular time, it's very important for all of us to get stable within our own light and our own energy in order to make it through this part without crumbling, basically. I mean, it's tough, but once we recognize that it's not anything to fear, but that there is the light and the highest vibration of light and all of the legions that we have of angels and our own teams, our own higher self, our own soul, the whole goal is the same, and it's to align us with our highest good and our highest destiny. So this is very important for all of us to recognize that it isn't always scary, it isn't always bad, but that the light knows what it is, right? And so connecting, that's your first go-to. Connecting, calling your legions to assist you, calling the golden beings of light to assist, asking, I'm giving permission and I'm asking for your assistance to heal, integrate, clear, whatever is needed. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. You're welcome, Destiny. Thank you. All right. We're going to look at, all right, Melissa. She said, I was so fired up to be the leader and guide and get going. And now I have zero interest in much of anything. I don't understand what happened. What happened is you are meant to shift, and you are meant to so I see you, imagine stairs, but suddenly the stair that you are taking, suddenly the next stair is taller than you and it's just straight up. And so it's almost like you hit a wall, except for that it isn't. It's actually a stair. So for you, Melissa, what is it that, and it's not about being fired up. Inside, what is your calling? What is calling to you that you may have dismissed? And that's why the stair suddenly, somehow, when you got started with this idea, it was one thing and it evolved as your mind goes, oh, and you can do this, and then you can do this, and you can do this. I find this happens to me a lot. So I get this great idea or this great download, and I'm like, oh my God, I can do this. And then before I know it, I'm off and running and creating 20 other things I can do. And so I then lose the main focus of what it is that I'm supposed to be doing. Does this make sense? So I want to know how that feels for you. Where did that idea start out? And then you made it way more than it was meant to be. at that time. Like, it's like you have to start right where you are, and then you need to see what unfolds, not creating, you know, it's like saying, I'm going to build a 1,000 square foot house. And suddenly, before you know it, you keep adding rooms and things, and it becomes so big, you're not able to do it. That's what that is saying. So let me know how that feels for you. Okay. All right. Ekaterina. Hello. Go ahead and unmute yourself. Are you there, Ekaterina? I'll try one more time to unmute you. You have to unmute yourself on your side, I believe.
Just a second. I guess I did it.
Okay, you did it.
Yes. Hi, Gabrielle. I want
All right,
to. I'm actually lying in my bed because I'm absolutely wiped out for the last 2 days. And on my lap, I have a beautiful cat, Gabriella, and she says hi to you.
Awesome.
Yes.
We love Gabriella.
Yes, she's here. Well, it's a beautiful name, actually, both of you.
Well, my mother did well.
Yes, yes. Well, as I mentioned, I'm wiped out. Before I was sick with some virus. I think it's a different virus. But basically, this cycle of being very sick and moving through some extreme physical breathing difficulties, digestion difficulties, has been going on for me for the last 25 years. So 25 years ago, actually in the 90s, I was working as a healer, a homeopath, like teaching yoga, shiatsu, doing all kind of things, family constellations. But gradually, like my own symptoms were getting worse and worse and worse. So in the early 2000s, I was working less, to the point that the last 10 years, it's non-stop clearing, like literally non-stop. I don't know anybody who goes through so much like physical turmoil every week. Usually I have like a couple of hours of respite, and then the next layer comes up.
Okay, so the first thing that you've shown me already, and we're clearing now, is you showed me like a prison. So, but a prison with, let's say you're outside in the yard, you know, where they have those fences with the razor wire at the top. So what you're showing me is like you're right at the hut that they let you go through to like the next set of gates, whatever. So there's one gate, which is where you're standing in front of, and then there's another gate after that one, and then there's another gate further down. So it's like you're stuck on, you know, 3 layers in to prison. Does that make sense? Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So we're going to start the work for you energetically. And again, everyone will benefit. Everybody, again, say yes, that you're willing and able to receive, and that wherever you are trapped in a multidimensional existence where you are imprisoned, you are a prisoner, or where you have, this is what I'm hearing for you, Ekaterina, signed your life away. So that is very deep.
Yeah.
Signed my life away is, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, everyone, add to the collective energy that we're going to tap into to assist Ekaterina and everyone else, where you may have become entwined and bound, and I'm seeing all sorts of things. So there are many ways that we become enslaved, and or it's where you've handed over your power, and in the handing over, you become a shell of a person. So lots of things here for you, Ekaterina, and for the people out there as well. So some really deep spiritual soul healing required to help you to reconcile this and all of these layers that are affected. So we just want you to take a deep breath, and so there's a padlock that is now being undone for you.
Thank you.
For that first layer. So good. I'm waiting to see you like walk through. So just give it another second. So what I want us all to do is know that we are allowing ourselves to continue to receive the golden light and the assistance from the golden beings of light to assist you to continue to move through each of these layers. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So anybody else who still feels like they're imprisoned or have given up their power because they're imprisoned, that everybody is receiving this energy. And then I want you, Ekaterina, to email me or write in the chat as it's clearing. Okay, I want you to be able to tell me as that's happening. Does that make sense?
Today?
However it does, whether it's in 5 minutes, tomorrow, or next week, let me know how it's going, because each layer will have its own issues that have to be worked through for why you have it 3 layers deep. That just means you've had many lifetimes where it's repeated the same cycle over and over. Okay?
And
so
and all those 25 years I've been clearing, I guess it was like some other layers before those 3.
Well, it's 25 years of this lifetime, but when we're looking at this 3 levels deep for you, this is not from this lifetime. This is, you're just repeating the traumas, so that makes them deeper, of course. And it's to bring your attention to them, that you need this higher, deeper healing. Okay. And so as the energy is working and you're receiving the sacred frequencies, it's going to continue to reconcile what needs to be. So it may come to be where you stop and there isn't any more progress. And then that's something that we have to dig into a little bit deeper for what happened in that particular trauma that changed, and it has to be dealt with more specifically. But for right now, I'm seeing you're halfway through the gate of that first gate. So we need you to continue to move through that. But I need to move on so we can get to some other people. But I want you to write me, let me know when you feel yourself go through that gate and what happens next. Does that make sense?
Yes, and I keep invoking the golden light, which I've been doing for a long time. So is it still helpful to continue?
Yes, and as you know, as we are connected to each other and connected to people who have other gifts and abilities, it opens up areas that you may not have had access to in order to free yourself. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
So, and it's hard to free ourselves. I'm just going to tell you the truth. It's hard to free your own self. It's easier to do when you're high vibration and you can work with somebody else who has that ability to shift it. And that's what we've done. So I'm going to really be interested to know how far that clearing goes, if it goes all the way or if you get stopped somewhere. Okay?
Thank you. I really appreciate it, Gabrielle.
Sweetheart. Thank you. Lori is asking, how do I connect actions and visions to what I want to do, even words? I'm feeling in the beginning of something that I don't even know what it is, and I'm unable to move forward. Right. Okay. And then Melissa says, she's answering for what I wrote in before. She says that she feels like there is no way out for her. It will never happen, and she gave up. This feels karmic, or I've given up my mission before. And then tears. So grateful, realize the prisoner on other levels, giving power away. Good. All right. See, so it's working for everybody on various levels. And that's what it's meant to do, is to help free us. Like I said, the more of us that move out of this phase 2, those fear frequencies, and move into that third phase of heart illumination, heart and soul illumination, the more that we are then able to move more of humanity and change what is happening and influence it. And use our light to keep darkness from creating what it is that is what they consider to be their mission to create. You have to realize, as we have missions as light workers and masters of light, they have missions that are anti what it is that our missions are. So in and of itself, that creates an issue, right? So as we connect within our own power, we are able then to truly keep the darkness contained, right? And not so easily able to influence, affect, or impact us in a human way, and keeping us from changing and moving and transforming humanity and our planet into a higher dimensional existence. Does everybody get that, what I'm saying? Okay. Okay, Tony, that's a really important topic. So Tony says, thank you, Gabrielle. I have been in a platonic relationship, unrequited love, sensing he is my twin flame, 2 years now. Friends have said it is a parasitic relationship, and I've told myself I am loving with no conditions. I found myself losing myself with temporary bliss, inner fight to let go, and to what degree to let go. Super important, Tony. So let's connect with you and see what we can do for you here. All right, so we just want everybody again to close your eyes and roll them up and be willing and able to receive, so that you can have the clearing of those stubborn issues that you're holding on to even when it doesn't feel right, because your mind and your emotions have convinced yourself of something. And this energetic interferes with all of us, even for, I know that it's time to move on to a new job, or I know it's time to leave a relationship, or I know it's time to move, and we don't, because we've convinced ourselves that we're meant to stay, or that it's going to get better, or that you're meant to be with this person, or that you have a contract, etc. And the contract may be that you are to reconcile what is between you energetically in other lifetimes to make it so that you can have a clean break. Okay, so the contracts can be what you might consider negative, in that it's a contract that has to get cleared, and that is the issue. Okay, so Tony, this person has their back to you. So what we're going to do energetically, and for everyone who is in a relationship, you're in a relationship, you want a relationship, or you're stuck in relationship, and you want to raise that vibration, you either want to raise it or end it, right? Because that's usually where people get stuck. So we want to be able to connect within ourselves and connect to the higher self of the person. And in this case, Tony, you are returning, I'm going to call it coins. It's not money, but it's round, like a flat coin. And so it's a past life. You have to return items energetically. And now we see that the contract is being torn up. Now take a deep breath and be willing and able to allow this relationship to disconnect. For each of you to forgive one another and to forgive yourself. Take a deep breath. It's a huge weight off your shoulders. They're showing me like a football player's shoulder pads, like being lifted off. It's been a huge weight for you. Okay. All right, we're going to infuse you with golden light, to heal and repair, to call back all fragments of your heart, your emotional body, and your soul. Now, they're showing me your inner self. So what I've come to learn by working with the golden beings of light is that it's not about an inner child. Your inner child is actually that aspect of you that needs that solid stability and keeps you from fully realizing your inner self, which is actually where we're all going, is to that inner self unity. And so you're showing me that that inner self needs healing. So we're going to ask the golden beings of light to assist all of us on healing the inner child, the inner boy, the inner girl, but merging you so that your inner self can be made whole. Okay. All right. Let me know how that felt for you, Tony, and anyone else, if you had energy come through that made you realize an epiphany, right? We all love epiphanies. Sam says, fire in the navel. Good. Fire in the navel is good. Holy fire burning off the energy within that second chakra area. Let's just allow that to move through. Okay, Tony, allow the tears to come. That allows the healing. It's the release of the energy, and that's what the tears are, and just let them go. It should end within a minute or so, and then it'll be cleared. So don't hold on to the tears. Just let them happen if that's what's meant to be. Okay. All right. So Gay was asking, okay, we have a couple things. I only have a few minutes, so let's get to it. A bit of pain in my left side of the spine, Rihanna says. Tony says, thank you. You're welcome. Okay, so just everyone allow the pain or the heat, somebody else is feeling heat, allow it to just move through. Don't attach to it. Don't wonder what it means. Just continually see or ask for the light to continue to move it through and for you to be made whole and complete, okay? So, okay. So I want to get to Gay. She says, is it possible to look at what is causing my biggest disconnect to self-worthiness because of lack of self-love or lack of self-forgiveness? Okay. Your biggest disconnect is you. It's that you believe that you are disconnected. This is not true. None of us are disconnected. Rather, we have areas of ourselves that are disconnected. So the difference here is that when we believe we're disconnected, you're almost seeing yourself as completely disconnected, which is different than an energetic disconnection where it might be just a little piece that's disconnected. It's not the whole thing. So your belief is that you're wholly disconnected. I hope I explained that well. So what we're looking for here is the origin of the belief that you're disconnected fully. That's probably a big one for a lot of us. But I'm seeing a clear shearing of the connection. So in this, I'm wanting you to wow. Okay, allow the energy to keep working. And what I mean by wow is it's very heavy. So we've hit a spot within your second to third, fourth chakra, I guess. So imagine like a big black square here that is showing me there's an aspect that is missing. It's also an opening where it's not whole, and so others can interfere and influence you through this. So if you're saying I'm feeling, I think you said you feel self-worth and lack of self-love. So that would make sense if it's your second to fourth chakra and lack of self-forgiveness. Yes. Okay. So I want you just to energetically be willing and able to receive and to release. Because what we're going to do is ask for the golden beings of light to assist and replace within you the harmonic frequencies that are needed to start bringing that, it's almost like weaving that area back together to provide, let's call it like skin over an area that's been bruised or scraped. So a weaving to bring back a connection there. Wow, that's beautiful. Okay, Gay, so you let me know how that goes. And for anyone else who is feeling disconnected, that we're asking the golden beings of light to provide you with the harmonic frequencies you need to weave yourself back together and into wholeness. All right, Gay, let me know how that goes. Okay. So then we have, I know that I saw one, Alexander, we will get to you. All right, so hello, my name is Dee Maurice. My question is about my third eye chakra. When I was 5, I had a visitation from an angel. Our conversation was mental. I tried to tell my family, but no one believed me. Since then, I believe that I blocked my ability to see spirit. Could you help me to know and fix this problem? Okay. Dee Maurice, we're gonna get to that. See how we do this? I'm going to take Alexander's too. I think you guys are similar. I don't know why. And know that by you guys, it's because I'm from New York. And we say you guys, no matter what. Okay, Alexander, are you there? Can you hit unmute? Okay, while we're waiting for that, let's see. Elizabeth says, yes, thank you. And yes, on the second, third, and fourth chakras. Good. Lots of tears around this weaving back together for Melissa. And Tony says, thank you again. I need you to help me give permission. His childhood abandonment and abuse issues and has told me emotional attachment is painful. Okay, so we're going to just ask for your heart to let go, because it is going to that old martyr and saving the world, saving everyone issue. All right, so is that you, Alexander? Are you on?
Yes, I'm on.
All right, Alexander. So your question is you want a soul reading.
Yeah, I have this vision of what I want to create. It's just, like I'm being pulled in several directions. So, and sometimes I'm kind of wondering, if I'm on the right track.
The answer is no, you're not on the right track. So your guides are very funny in that they're showing me an empty train track. So what that tells me is it's not a mental thing. Okay. So it's about aligning. Remember when I said like a chapter closes?
Yes.
Okay. So it's not based on what you know. It's like me saying, I know mortgage banking and I only want to go back into corporate as a mortgage banker.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't know how else I can apply those gifts and understandings and abilities, right? So it's about opening your own abilities so that you get how you use your abilities, but in a new way. So you're recreating something that you know versus where you're meant to go. And I know you're asking me, okay, well, give me the soul reading so I can plot it out. And what I am saying to you is that is not how it works. So what happens is when we work together, it's to assist you for your next, I'm going to call it a crumb, and don't let that upset you. It's not going to be a full picture. So it's about allowing your heart to be in charge versus your mind being in control. Does that make sense?
Yes. And that's one thing I'm working to just, I always go back to my heart and just tune in and, rather than letting my mind go all over the place.
Yes. And it's allowing, see, with the empty track, it just means that you haven't put your train on it, right? So it has somewhere to go, but there's no engine on it. Does that make sense? So what I want you to do is go ahead and answer my email and set up a time to work with me so we can go through and actually do the parts that we need to get your train on the track, because it's going to be on a higher aspect. When our mind, and this I understand, and it's part of my deal, is I understand the difficulty of mind and heart and getting them to work together. And that is your first goal. Like right now they're separate, and so you've got one fighting the other, and so you have this energetic duel going on, which just keeps you in a spinning cycle of nothing. Okay. So it's not something that you can figure out, and it's not something you can convince yourself out of doing. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So in connecting, we're going to start tonight with asking for you to have the courage, and this is what I'm hearing, I have the courage to face my fears, and it's your greatest fear. Like energetically, you want to be able to avoid having to go there and figure it out in a different way so you don't have to face it. And what I want to share for everybody, not just you, Alexander, is that energetically, you don't have to experience something again when we release it on a deeper level.
Yes.
Instead, we're just going to move through it. But I can tell you, they're showing me. So you are dragon lineage. What a surprise. I say that in love. Dragon lineage is very interesting. So we'll have a great time talking about it. But the issue with dragons is very hard to be human. It's very hard to get your grand ideas to fit in the human form. And for you, they're showing me like the head of the dragon, and then the body. It's not that it's missing. It's almost like it's been encased, I hear. So what we want to say is we need to free yourself. It's almost like, imagine being half frozen in a block of ice. So what it means is we have to free you from the ice and to find out what it is that put you there. And so I'm going to say this. We're going to start by asking. They're already starting on it. So to release you from that. When this happens, we will see the next level, I hear. So in order for you to ever have that comfort of knowing that you have a trajectory that's really not made up, we want to bring this aspect of yourself back together. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. When you should mention dragon, I am drawn to dragon. I mean, for some reason, and power for me represents power.
Oh yeah, you dragon personalities are awesome. I'm married to a dragon, so I know. It's dragons need grounders. They need energy in their life that is grounding, because you are rulers, leaders, warriors, and you tend to think and act grandly. Like you just, it's like, I want to create a town. Okay. And it's like, instead of a town, it becomes a metropolis. It's just how you operate. Yeah.
Yes, that is so true.
So I know now you're going to hit that link and you're going to set up your time so we can work through this for you.
Yes,
You can get
I
where
will.
you need to go. Okay.
All right, thank you.
Because dragon is its own lineage. Like we talked about, I said there's soul origin lineages. Yours is dragon. So as we move through that and bring that into alignment, then you will be able to move forward. The hardest thing for dragons is to understand that there are little steps, because you don't operate in little steps very well. Right?
So very true.
I know. Like I said, I live with one. So I get it. And I have so many clients. It's so funny. I draw to me dragon lineage. And I believe it's because I'm a grounder and because I understand you, because I live with it. And I have lived with it for 21 years. So I have a lot of knowledge. But the dragon lineage is being awakened now more than ever. And it's because the dragons are the warriors, the leaders, and they understand how to implement a grand plan. Okay. So if you're feeling like I really am supposed to be doing something and you aren't sure what it is, it's because that part of you has to be brought into alignment. Okay.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you for the question.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome very much. All right. We'll talk to you soon. I look forward to it. Okay. So everyone, I want to offer, I have to do D. Maurice. So D. Maurice, the answer is you're trying to tell your family, but that is not the issue. The issue is that it's like you hide behind a curtain. That's what I'm seeing. So the curtain even looks like a curtain that you would have in a hospital ward or something, except for that the curtain is black and not white. So you're hiding behind aspects of yourself and not allowing it to come forward. And I imagine that those areas are darkness, and the darkness is keeping you from stepping forward. So release this idea that it's from your family and what you experienced that just reinforced what actually is occurring and is bringing your attention to the issue so that you can move through it. Okay. And so I'm going to ask for that to begin, but I can tell you, just like what we've been dealing with here, it's going to be a bit more of a serious issue than it's not an abracadabra issue, I hear. So what that means is that we're going to have to dig, and we're going to have to dig it out in higher multidimensional layers. Okay. So what I want to let everyone know is that I have an amazing live masterclass, super affordable. And it is regarding healing your soul, higher mind, higher self connection. So amazing. And it starts on Saturday. You can go check this out at GabrielleSpencer.com/higher mind. And it does start this Saturday, the live portion. Okay. GabrielleSpencer.com/higher mind. And if you enjoyed what we did here today, I am starting in Soul Awakenings Inner Circle to talk about and continue this work to move us through all 4 phases of your soul's awakening, of your awakening to your connection to your soul. And this Inner Circle will begin in June, the first Saturday of June. And it's just ongoing, so you can join or leave at any time. And that is GabrielleSpencer.com/soul awakenings. Okay. Does anyone have questions or comments or anything you would like to do before we end this beautiful night together? Anita, that is not the same which one? Anita, yes. If you're talking about the higher mind, yes, it's the one we're doing this Saturday. But the Soul Awakenings is a completely separate thing. It's more of like what we're doing here today, where we're talking and providing guidance, and it's very affordable because we want to just keep moving everybody along. This is a critical time where all of us know it's a critical time. We all know we're shifting. We all know there are things we're meant to do. And a lot of us are unable to move into what it is we're supposed to do because we are blocked, but on a higher soul level versus, just what I think happened to me when I was a child. And I believe that as we provide this type of a forum, we're able to help more of you faster. This is the goal. We have to move fast. The faster that we move and get everybody to a higher vibration of light, the faster we can move through these difficult periods, because the dark side will not have derailed us. It will not keep us thinking, oh, it's going to be okay, or oh, it's meaning this or that, or I'm supposed to just sit around on my sidelines waiting for something to happen. It's about always being in alignment with the light so we know what it is we're being called to do. We are all here at this time for our role, whether you are a warrior light, which frankly, we all are warriors of light. We all are here to assist humanity and the planet to transform and to move into higher dimension. So that means that as light, masters of light, beings of light, we are meant to fill in where light is needed. So that means more of us, the more of us that move into that third phase of heart and soul illumination, then we're able to tip ourselves hopefully faster into that 4D and higher existence. And so we can leave or transform this morass that is happening right now, because we need that critical mass. So this Soul Awakenings Inner Circle, you can get to it at GabrielleSpencer.com/Soul Awakenings. It is 2 times a month, and it will assist you to do more healing and work as a group and a community, and to build our inner circle of warriors and masters of light. That is what is needed, is what we're called to do, and it will help each and every one of us to move through faster. Okay, everyone, I love you, and I just so appreciate you allowing me to assist you and to be here as love and light. I love it. I enjoy being with you. Thank you for being here. You all have a wonderful evening.
Thank you for joining us on the Soulscape.tv show. Go to Soulscape.tv to access the many free gifts from our guests and for more great masterclasses and panelist discussions.